everyone. Welcome to Keeping It Real. So we're going to talk a little bit today about something we kind of talked about a little bit before. Yes, we did. This has been, it was kind of a huge talking point a couple months ago. Like a lot of people were discussing it, and we did a talk about it. It's been 2 or 3 months ago. It's been a while ago. Anyway, but I went to training this week. Training's always so much fun. 7 hours or something. It was really long, but I did learn a lot, and it's always helping my clients. So I'm always happy about that. But one of the things is, and the intro is like this. So you find a house and you make an offer and everything is going fabulous. Everyone's happy. The things are going around, but the last minute, boom, the detail falls apart and the buyer can't get home insurance. So today we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that and some other things that I learned about that I know that's been out there, but that, is definitely something that we should start making a best practice. So first of all, how are you doing today, Kerri?
I'm doing really good.
Good.
I became a grandma this last week, so very excited about that.
Yes, you have a baby. I wish we could see the baby. You're going to bring the baby on its show, just hold the
Maybe
baby.
next week. She's downstairs with mom and dad.
I understand. Okay, so so a lot of times, like the house there could be like an issue like with the house. It's in I know there's wildfires that are happening. Maybe you're in a flood zone. There's just a lot of things that could happen. Insurance companies are saying nope, and we talked about that. They're saying there's some homes that they're just absolutely we're not going to insure, or they'll insure you, but the rates will be so incredibly high that you get to the table and you're like, I can't afford it. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Let's see here. I got to do one little thing here. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk about the insurance thing that no one talks about, but that can kill your deal. All right. And so again, Nikki and Kerri, and here we go. So we talked about it. Some of the things that they'll say no to is if the home is in a wildfire zone. I'm sure in California, this is specifically true. Probably, I don't know if Canada has same rules and stuff that we do, but I would guess probably both those places with all the fires that happen seem like all the time, probably not. I think flooding is going to be another big concern coming up because I heard the water levels are rising and things are changing. And I was thinking about that one specifically, Kerri, because I know that a lot of times we get those high tides and sometimes the water will come up pretty high into people's properties and stuff like that. So I would think they would be in a flood zone, and that could be a little bit more of a riskier area. Their insurance rates might go high.
And we actually do pull a report that determines whether or not your property is in a flood zone. And if it is flagged that they are, then you actually have to get additional flood insurance.
Okay. And we're going to talk about that additional insurance coming up too. So what can go wrong? There can be, if you can't get insurance, guess what? Kerri's part is you get no loan, right?
No loan.
And it could cost way more expenses than we talk. It also can delay everything. Especially if you're finding this out, a lot of times you'll get in the process and it'll be 5 days into it. And then you're like, oh, we need to go do this. And then you'll get your information. And then towards the end, you'll find out, oh, we can't get insurance. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So the main thing is if you're a buyer, you should get on the insurance thing right away. Don't wait. And Kerri, I was talking to you the other day when we were talking about this topic, and you were saying you can even do it at pre-approval, right?
Yes. Talk to your insurance company. Let them know what price range you're looking at and the types of homes you're looking at, and they can give you a rough estimate. It's going to be very rough, but at least you have an idea. And that way we can reach out to your agent and they can give us some type of quote so that we can incorporate it into your debt to income ratios, because that is the number one thing that could also kill a deal. Is if you're already so close to the high end of your ratios, it could completely disqualify you if the insurance is $50 or $60 more than we originally anticipated.
Right. And I know we talked about that last time, and they were just saying the rates were going up and crazy and stuff. So don't wait. And sellers, don't try to hide stuff. Sometimes it can also be like when we had our insurance professional on here before, and she was saying, if you have a lot of what are those things called against your home, you've used your insurance over claims. Yes, thank you. I totally lost a word for there. Sorry about that. But if you have a lot of insurance claims and stuff like that, and addressing some of that stuff up front might be helpful as well. Because if you're trying to hide it, like, oh, like, we live on lakefront, for instance, and we've had water damage like 2 or 3 times, and we've had to, file a claim with our insurance company. Those kind of things are good to think about up front, because then you kind of know more what you're getting at. So don't try to hide it if you're a seller. That's kind of the main thing. Okay. So before I go into the big takeaway, and this is kind of it, just save yourself a whole lot of time and stress, and could save your deal, but like really start early. As I mentioned last week, I was in training, and one of the biggest takeaways on that was that what I didn't really realize is that, I mean, I knew my clients got an insurance binder, but I did not know that that was not a guarantee for your policy. Like you might get it, you might not get it. They can still come back and say no, and then you're left without insurance. And then where are you? Especially if it's like the day or two before closing. So I didn't really know that. And again, if the costs come in too high, all that stuff can damage it. So there's actually a form in the Northwest MLS. It's called a 22VV, which means absolutely nothing to probably anybody watching that, but the realtor should all know that. And if you don't use me as your realtor, then you should make sure your realtor does know about that. And especially because this is happening so much more frequently than it did before, make sure that form is being used when you do your contracts, because what that does is that gives you a way to say you've got like 5 days to go apply for your thing, or like just like you would a loan, right? You have 5 days to apply for your insurance, and then if they come back and they say, hey, it's going to be way over this amount, or you have to have this type of insurance, and or whatever, or you can't get insurance, you can actually get your earnest money back, and that isn't out of getting in that transaction where you might have, it's either terminating anyway or whatever, but it would save the seller some time, because it's not going to be stuck in the market when they can't get insurance on it, or it could be the other direction. So anyway, I thought that was super important. I just wanted to share.
It is. And that's the whole thing, is we encourage people straight away to get their insurance binder, because another thing is it saves time, especially people want to close in less than 30 days now. And if everything is done up front and we submit everything to the underwriter at the first go around, chances are we'll have 0 conditions, and we'll be able just to issue the initial closing disclosure and be able to close very quickly. So it's a time saver, a deal saver, so many things.
Okay. So the main takeaway of this, again, is if you're a buyer, get that insurance binder going as quickly as you possibly can. Do not wait. And then I would definitely suggest the 22VV. So that's all I got for you today. Kerri, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Only if you need help, we're your people to call.
Yes.
So you guys, it's 360-710-4742 is mine, 360-930-1694 for Kerri. Reach out and give us a call. We'd love to help you. We're always here. Thanks so much, and have a great day. See you next week.